on Disney, Netflix, Facebook, Meta. You can also add Amazon. You can also add so many others who have not just been losing market value, market cap, but who have been sacking tens of thousands of people just in the last few weeks. But it's not a political debate in the US. It's a reality of the way the business environment is. Of sometimes companies tend to bloat up, tend to get their predictions wrong, and then they correct. And that's what business is about, isn't it, Professor Babones? You know, all these big tech companies have made huge mistakes in assessing where their fortunes will go post-COVID. Now they are sort of fixing things. So I'm still figuring out. Let me ask you, what was the big deal? I mean, is there something else going on here that we are not reading on the face of it?
Well, again, I always encourage people to put things in comparative perspective. So, for example, consider the question of Life Insurance Corporation of India being invested in Adani and having lost money on that investment in the last few weeks. That may be true, but it's entirely appropriate for a long-term investor like a life insurance company to be invested in relatively illiquid securities that are in something like a family company or in a closely held company. That is, insurance companies hold what we call patient capital. The idea of this kind of investing is that they can invest for a very long term, which is to say they have their investments match the maturity profile, the maturation profile of their insurance policies, which mature over periods of 20 or 30 years. So what Life Insurance Corporation of India will be looking to do is have investments that can be realized over a time frame of 20 or 30 years, not in making a quick buck in the market, which is to say institutional investors, large long-term investors like insurance companies, whether publicly or privately owned, have an investment time horizon that's much longer than what we're seeing with this current market volatility. Now, the drop in Adani's share price will be a serious problem for many people, not least Mr. Gautam Adani himself. But that doesn't make it a national emergency. It's simply a matter of market volatility that we would see anywhere in the world. I might add that even the share price structure of Adani, which was such a focus of the Hindenburg Research Report, even that is not particularly atypical. That is, if you look at Europe's largest company, LVMH, most of you know it as Louis Vuitton. Bernard Arnault and the Arnault family own almost half of the company. They own more than 60% of the voting shares. They have 60 subsidiaries in which they own various proportions in it, and members of the family serve in the company. Now, I'm not promoting that as a model of corporate governance. As a sociologist, I'm not here to promote any model of corporate governance. I'd just like to educate people on the fact that these forms of corporate governance are widespread in the developed world as well as in India.
But Professor, both you and I, as sociologists,